Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Wanted to talk about back to school as well as parenting today. So as you know, in Ethiopia as well as in the continent, in Africa, a lot of children are going back to school within the last month or so. And wanted to talk to you about how do we get kids from spending time in rainy seasons, going back to school and scheduling. So sleep is a very important thing. So when we talk about sleep, if you notice that your children go to bed, when the school was out during the rainy season, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it's really hard for them to transition back to 8 o'clock. So my recommendation is, of course, start taking 30 minutes or 50 minutes off. So let's say if your child goes to bed at 10, so see if you can the next day they can go to bed at 9:30, and then keep doing that until about 8 o'clock. If your kids are really young, see if you can start to get the kids to go to bed at 7:30. When I say young, between the age of 3 and 6. Why is sleep important? Of course, children need at least 10 hours of sleep to function. We notice that children who sleep have better attention span at school, and they also have less behavioral problems, which means that if you get less tantrums, less fights, less anxiety, kids not crying as much and adjusting to school better, and also they learn better. And so please, if you think about just adjusting your time at home with your children, especially if they're small, getting them to go to sleep on time. And the second one is nutrition. We talk about nutrition is really important for children learning. So my recommendation is not to really give sugar in the morning for children, because as you know, if a child has let's say cookies or cake in the morning, by 9:30 or 10 they crash. And they're not going to be able to learn, and they also get really moody. One thing that I want to also address from earlier on is it's important that when children come home, they need to take a little bit break. Because imagine being adults, as all adults, and if you're working, we're performing, children also will be performing, especially the first few weeks will be very tough for them until they get used to the routine. So when they come home, they melt down, they have a tantrum, and they would get really cranky, and they will get very they want you there, or they don't want to sleep, they don't want to play, they don't want to eat. So all of those things are just a way they're expressing themselves that they had a rough day. And that's okay, because imagine as adults, what do we do when we get home? We get a glass of water, we change our clothes, some people get glued on TV. So it's just a way to relax, to kind of get away from the day. So please, if you could, let the kids be kids. Of course, it's important for them to be outside and play. If they want to take a nap, they take a nap. Of course, they have a snack, and then get into the routine of doing homework if they have homework. But I think it's important that the kids rest, because you want them to appreciate and love school, not to hate it as much. So this week, my recommendation is just pay attention. What are you feeding your children? Also pay attention what time you put in your children to sleep. So you would have to rearrange your schedule to make sure that you are at home for your kids' bedtime. If you can't, make sure you have someone reliable that you train, either a family member or someone who helps you to put the kids to bed on time, so that they can be able to get up in the morning and be happy and joyful to go to school. Thank you so much for joining me today. Next week, we will talk about other topics, such as how to connect to children, and also how to advocate for our children in the school, the kids with teachers and staff at school. Please don't forget to go on YouTube's Ask Zahara channel, subscribe and share. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment.